Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. Well, I don't have a bingo. The J scuppers that, but the rest of the rack is pretty bingo-y. How can I sort this rack out? Is Japer good? This wrecks the rack, but getting the J doubled is going to make it worthwhile. 44 points. Phew. I did have a slight doubt about that. Now, look at this. I've drawn the first blank. Only 7 points for opponent. Fantastic. My rack is slightly vowel heavy, but surely I have a bingo here. I have Rainier in row G. Do I have anything with an M? Payu takes an M and only an M. I don't think Maria is good. No, not seeing one. Now, what about putting an S on the end of Japer? Super high probability set of tiles. Well, I'm not seeing a play there. And how about a play through the J? No, okay, well, I could be missing stuff here, but I do at least have a bingo in Rainier for 64. Not good. Very consonant heavy and duplicates, and I'm going to struggle to sort this out in one. Nothing through the J. I'm looking to get rid of D and W, or W and W. Wow, look at that, 108-point bingo. No blank with the Z. So, was there an alternative bingo to Rainier which wouldn't have allowed that? We'll find out later. So, what to do here? I have Dort and Wood. Dort plays here. Sorts out the duplicates. 23 points, not fantastic. But what about a play through this A? Again, sorting out the duplicates, but a much bigger score. I am going with this. Wow, and I draw both V's. This doesn't look particularly auspicious. However, I do currently have a lead despite opponents' 100-point bingo. So vow and avow are my immediate thoughts on seeing this rack. And they play in row F. And also avows in row L, which would be quite handy because it would take out 3 very useful floaters. So how about an alternative play? Do I have a play which plays off both V's? I have Vivo through the Eye of Craziest. But I'm not seeing anything which sorts out all of the V's and W's, not surprisingly. 38 points for opponent. We're now dead level. So this is what I'm thinking of. Vow, 26 points. I could play the A in front, but that's gifting a scoring spot for opponent, and the A helps the vowel consonant balance. Anywhere better for vow. I note that the C is next to this triple letter square, so either of the 2 remaining H's could provide a 50-point play. So, is vow the play? Not seeing anything else. V could go above AR. But I'm not seeing anything longer than vow apart from a thou. If takes an F and an S, still one F to come. I'm going with this. Okay, well, the end of the tunnel is in sight. If I play Ava, the rack lever date is really good. Now, do I have Vanadate through the N? I do, I have a bingo on my rack. Wow, will that stay available? Only face value, but this doesn't look like a bingo-y rack. My lead just 20 points. So there's going to be a big difference between getting that down and having it blocked. I have no alternative bingo. Do I have anything down from the J? Java doesn't get doubled. And I haven't identified anywhere. Well, I haven't identified anywhere for Ava, but of course Vow is good. Great, I don't need to worry about that. I have Validate for 65. Fantastic. So I go into a 70-point lead, but a lot of action still to come with 48 tiles in the bag, including a blank and 2 S's. So what am I going to do here? I have the Q, rest of the rack pretty bingo-y. There's a floating U in Payu. Can I use that? Gosh, surely there's something through that. Well, I'm not seeing it. And opponent goes there, but look at this. Opponent has provided a Q spot. And the score isn't great, but just getting rid of the Q is the aim, especially as this 6-letter set is pretty good. And opponent's player Vobi has actually taken out a really good bingo lane in row M. Validate takes an S. And not too many other bingo lanes on the board. Column 15 ending in D. Perhaps the best. So, am I going with G? Could there be anywhere else? No, I don't think so. I'm going with this. Well, I duplicate a tile. And I think that scuppers my bingo prospects with this rack. But I have an N for chin. Now, do I definitely have nothing onto the D? No, I don't. And are there any other floaters to consider? There's WAR. So I could have a word ending wheres. Not seeing anything there. So row N is attractive because of chin, but any row N play is going to provide access to row O. However, if I play goon, that row O access is restricted in the sense that chin only takes an S and I have one. G not massively useful in column 1, unless opponent has an INGS word. Rackley pretty good. But what about playing just gone? Wow, well, just gone takes an A in front. And the O isn't a great tile, still 4 to come. Only 25 points. Let me put this back. There's a lot of problems with that play. Nothing goes between T and YE. Do I have anything through this J? Lou is good, so I could play Joel. 13 points. That's not great. So what's my lead? 65 points. I'm minded to play Goon because it provides 2 openings, column 1 and row O. Opponent could just play a 3-letter word in row O, but that's only really damaging with the X. I'm going with this. So I have N rolls, nowhere for that. Nothing onto the G. What about the D? Norzeld would be good as a 9. Wow. Now, if opponent plays in column 1, he might create a spot for N rolls. What's the best I've got with the chin hook? Well, probably Solar. 35 points might be worth doing. I have got a 90-point lead. Turns over tiles with a blank and 2 S's to come. Doesn't create a new bingo lane, or only one with a massive overlap. So, 39 for opponent, good score. Enrolls was my bingo. That doesn't play. I think Glaying takes an S. So is there really nowhere for Enrolls? And what about this D? No, not seeing anything. And opponents turned over a lot of tiles. Still 32 in the bag. This is what I'm thinking about. Solid 35 points, that's half a bingo. And it's dampening down the board. And column 2, not massively helpful for bingos. And any column 2 bingo would provide scoring options in return. I am going with Solar. Wow, pretty good. But is there a bingo here? What about column 15 onto the D? Certainly a balanced rack, and Cora doesn't take an S. So I'm not seeing a 7 here, although there could be one. Just noticing that column 9 was a 7-letter lane, but Enrolls doesn't go there. War, an unlikely 3-letter set for a 10-letter play, but with Ward and Where, it's possible. Good scoring by opponent. Now I have drawn an S. Do I have something in column 15, a 6-letter play? So play beginning with S. Not seeing one. But this is a nice rack. My lead, just 56 points and still 23 tiles in the bag. Wow. What do I have at the bottom with my S? Just SO. This is 47 points. I think this is worth doing. This rack leave isn't terrible. I'm going with this. Wow. Well, I was waiting for that move to be deemed invalid. I had a slight doubt about Glayings, but I was fairly confident, and that's given me a 100-point lead. Now, I'm still looking great. Just 16 for opponent. Opponent's slowing down and not creating bingo lanes. I'm looking at column 15. What about a play ending card? Nope, nap card and pank card, not good. I do have an A for a thou, but any play in row A is going to create bingo floaters. Look at this, still both H's to come for CH. Maybe I should take that out. Maybe I should take this D out. How can I do that? Do I have anything which gets a CK or P doubled? 10 minutes on my clock. Well, no, I'm not seeing such a play, so why not just carry on turning over tiles and scoring half decently? I've got Park in this spot. 23 points, that's a bit lame. Can I do any better? Nothing goes after US. Park doesn't create very much. So it has merit, and can is quite good, and with 2 H's to come, that C might be helpful for a CH play in column 14. And I like turning over 4 tiles. I'm going with this. And I dodged the H, but a pretty good rack. I have uncrated in column 15. That stays available. Wow. Fantastic. This is going to be a hammer blow for my opponent. Uncrated for 86. Bang! And I draw ugliest and gluiest, so this is looking good. 6 tiles in the bag, and I have nearly a 200-point lead. And opponent's play of MI, well, it did create a bingo lane in column 3. Interesting. But that doesn't help either of the bingos I've identified. Is there a third anagram of ugliest? Don't think so. So what about the floaters in uncrated? U doesn't look useful. The N does. But is there one there? Not seeing it. How about the C? That looks less likely. Now, opponent has got the H. And look at this, gluiest and ugliest. Both end in T. And don't play in row A. How galling. Otherwise, I would have been racking up a huge score. So 4 tiles in the bag. Remaining tiles pretty non-bingo-y. So what does go above an H? An E does. And an S does. Look at this, I've got an S, I've got a 7-letter bingo. Choice of them, but none of them end in S. What to do? I think this game is won. Opponent can only bingo once, and I have a 170-point lead. 4 tiles to come. What about playing just G and U? Which I can do down here, leaving a super bingo-y 5-letter set. And there's column 3, there's rows A and C. I think this is the right play to make. The only pause for thought is whether there's somewhere better to play G and U. Just looking around, not seeing anywhere. Jog is good, but I do want to play off the U, and I don't want to block bingo lanes. I am going with this. Wow, what a dream pickup. That is immense. Surely I am bingoing again. I have Luteans in row A, but I'll have a ton of bingos in row A. What about column 3? Opponent can't block both. What do I have ending in E? I have Slainty. Fantastic. So I am bingoing. Is opponent going to empty the bag? That would maximise my score. Now show is good, so fantastic. I've still got Luteans for 77. And that is the end of the game. And final score, 325 for my opponent, 605 for me, a winning margin of 280 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. That is a massive margin of victory. I cannot recall the last time I won by that margin. So let's see how that happened and what I missed. It was me to go first. I played Japer, that looks fine. Opponent's rack plays Payu, and now I have this rack. And I played Rainier, and I felt there were alternatives, but I couldn't see them. A8. Oh wow, onto the R, Briaria for 74. That would have been 10 more points. Faria and Haria, not really any different to Rainier. And then other spellings of Briaria in column 8. So Briaria would have been best, but it wouldn't have stopped opponent from bingoing. In fact, he would have had an even bigger score by getting his Z tripled. Wow, Zincate E10, also through a floater I'd provided. Now, I trail, and I don't have a good rack, and I play Wand. Alternatives, Wad and Wad. And possibly the top one the best, it scores more, and Want probably the best rack leave. Now, opponent's rack, no bingo, plays Neff. And we're dead level, and I have a rubbish rack. What do? I play Thou. Interesting, I could have played Vav. Could have played Vav for the same score, keeping the W rather than the V, and the W is a better tile. And I was thinking I had the A for a vow, and at this stage my lead is slender, so that might have been a useful opportunity to score well and open the board if I needed it, so probably not terribly much between those plays. Opponent's rack plays you, and look at this, uncraziest is good. Wow. Now my rack, and look at this, Vanidate, delighted to have spotted that, and that shot me into a 70-point lead. No bingo for opponent, plays OB. And interesting, I played Chi, and I could have played off the N as well. Probably not much between those plays. The N does help, e.g. LOS. So, yeah, Chin, possibly better, possibly not. And in fact, hanging on to the N is useful because opponents could well play a parallel play, creating QI, in which case the N would help with a further parallel play. So, opponent plays die. Longe, 31, that's nice. What do? I play Goon for 25. Yeah, and I like that. It's slightly less than Longe, but Longe is very easy to play in row O, whereas after Goon, you have to have an S, and I have one, so I like my play. Opponent plays Glaying. And what do? I play Solar for 35. Interesting, I could have played Cell or Sol for 54. 19 more points. Yeah. And no good reason not to. Because Sol takes out the rest of row O. It stops opponent scoring at the bottom left. So yes, Sol I think would have been a better play. Opponent's rack plays Med. Phew, no missed bingo here, and I play So for 47, and that looks fine. Opponent plays Bow. So he plays Bow from this rack. Yep. And now, my lead is still only one bingo's lead, and there are bingo lanes on the board, and a blank unseen. So what do I do here? I play Park for 23, but K11... Oh, look at this. Try is good. There is a tile which goes between T and YE, and I have it. And O's is good, EAUS, so I could have played Rack for 38, and that would definitely have been a better play. Now, I lead by 100. Opponent's rack plays My. And here we go. I have Uncarted, Uncrated, Untraced, both of which give me an unassailable lead. Opponent not able to respond with a bingo of his own, plays Hen. No missed bingo here. And I play Goo to leave a really good 5-letter set on a board with multiple bingo lanes. Now, opponent's rack. He plays Ho. And finally, a ton of bingos in row A, including Luteans, all for the same score. And look at this, I get the X and the F doubled on countback, which pushes me over the 600 mark. So what an absolutely amazing game. It felt close, and it was close. Even with 2/3 of the game gone, my lead was about 70 or 80 points, and there was a bingo lane on the board. And I think I was probably fairly fortunate in my pick of tiles in playing uncrated and then picking up such a good set of 7 tiles, which enabled me to bingo again before the end of the game. So absolutely cracking fun. Many thanks to my opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.